Oh, hey, I told you we wouldn't be gone forever. And look, here we are listening to another episode of this podcast. So this is live show audio from a show we did this August 2021 in New York City with Jackson Bird. This was the show that kicked off Potterless, and it was a blast, and I'm sure that you're going to love this audio. Only other note I have is, speaking of Potterless, we had a show planned for Salt Lake City on October 27th of this year, and just because of how COVID cases are going right now, it feels not ideal to have a show right now, so the plan is to postpone the show, not cancel it, just postpone it. Whether we loop that into West Coast shows that I'm trying to do in 2022, or I do it alongside LeakyCon in 2022, which was the original inspiration for booking a show in Salt Lake City, because I was already going to be in Colorado, that was going to be close by. We are going to do a show in Salt Lake City, for sure. It is just not going to happen this October, because I'm trying to be safe, especially before the holidays and all of that, so it just felt like the right decision. I'm sorry, and if you have any sort of issue with the tickets, or you just want a refund or whatever, and you cannot figure it out with the venue, please shoot me an email to potterlesspodcast@gmail.com and I will sort everything out. So hopefully you all understand there. I'm excited to do more live shows in the future, and I hope you enjoyed this live show audio where Jackson Bird and I decided who is the best magical creature? What is the best character that isn't a human in Harry Potter?
Oh, man. It is so good to be doing Potterless Live. This is the first time I've said that sentence since January of 2020, which was 37 years ago. Thank you all so much for coming out. I'm very excited to present what we are doing today. Oh, man. It is interesting being the host of a Harry Potter podcast, especially now. But there are many important questions that the fandom wants answered. And there's ones that people have been clamoring and yelling from the treetops for people to answer. And I'm just trying to do my service. I know I came late to the fandom, so I'm trying to just do my part to help. So today we'll be answering the very, 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 very important question of who is the best non-human character in the Harry Potter series. In order to do that, we are doing a bracket. Now, I know you all are a very sporty group of people. But if you're not familiar with how a bracket works, or if you've never pretended to care about college basketball for like exactly 1 week when your office does the pool and you're like, maybe I'll win $20. We're going to be doing a whole bracket to decide who it is. We've got 36 people vying for this title, and I'm not going to be just deciding this alone. I have a very special guest that is going to help me determine who is the best. So I'd like to welcome to the stage our guest for tonight, Jackson Bird. Jackson, come on, hello!
I'm just gonna take a couple. Hello, everyone.
How's it going?
Oh, pretty well. I needed like the money gun entrance like you. I feel like I didn't have anything.
How selfish of me to blow both. I should have left one for you.
No, but I am just, I wish these were real. They looked pretty convincing.
Right, don't they? If any of you caught one, it's worth paper. So, backstage, Jackson and I did some work with the help of Kelly, and we set up at least the initial seedings for all of the different characters. We've got all of these non-human characters grouped into 4 different quadrants. You can see them. Look at that. Beautiful. I'm going to zoom in so it's more clear. Technology. Sorry, people listening at home. It's really cool. So, it's definitely not just a Google Doc with some settings added. So we've got 4 different quadrants of non-human characters, and the first of which here is the humanoids. So we have the humanoids here in red, we have the pets here in blue, we have the evil characters in green, and then we have Hufflepuff.
It's all the rest.
Yes. As Jackson pointed out, when we were putting this together, it was the I'll take the rest category. So what we're going to be doing here is we've got a different structure for each of the rounds, but for the first round, I'm going to set a timer to make sure that we do this properly. And we're going to be talking about who's just the better creature. And better is a loose term. It can be, who we think provides more to the story, who we think we'd like to spend time with, who's a better hang, who's funnier, etc.
Who you want to be BFFs with.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
We're just going to keep it loose, and just some of these will be very obvious, some of these will be heated. Jackson and I will talk them through. If we come to a consensus, great. If we do not have an agreement, if we are butting heads on this, we will turn it to you lovely folks as the applausometer to determine who should advance to the next round. The first thing, and I'm going to put a minute on the clock, is Dobby versus Bane. No, I'm not going to put a minute on the clock because this is not a long conversation.
Yeah, Bane sucks, Dobby rules. Next.
Yes. Does Bane do anything? He's just the grumpy centaur, right?
Yeah, he's trying to, uphold these like generations of just like Firenze is trying to break out of the mold and help people, and I think that Bane is very isolationist, and I don't like that.
No, and as much flack as I like to give Dobby early on, and as much as I did not like him, he becomes such a wonderful little friend.
No, it's true.
as
it's
it goes
true.
on.
I mean, I'll have words about Dobby as we continue with this bracket, but you're right.
Yes, going against Bane at least. Not really a contest. I was going to type Dobby's name, but I am getting the spinning rainbow wheel of death, which is totally planned entertainment. Nope. Okay. It's all right.
We'll just remember.
Yeah, it's a podcast. It's audio. So the next matchup that we will be deciding here is Firenze versus Grop. I feel like this one is more heated just in the fact that, I don't know, Firenze's like, he teaches, gets the cool classroom. Mm-hmm. Dumbledore does a lot for his classroom. Like,
that's true. Really
he pulls out all the stops.
Yeah.
I don't know if he requested it or if Dumbledore's just a super nice
He's
guy.
like what Dumbledore does for Firenze's classroom is as if his classroom were on an extreme home makeover, where it's like, oh, you're a centaur, right? Okay, that one detail, now it's a forest.
It's also, it could also be like Pimp My Ride, where it's like, we heard you live in the forest, so we put a forest in the first floor of this classroom because we also know you can't take the stairs. So so Firenze, but Grop is... he's a nice guy. He's doing his best.
Very
right?
loving, very loving.
Doesn't understand social cues to not like pick people up, like not knowing that that's not how you treat your friends.
But he learns over time.
He does learn.
We see a lot of character growth.
We do see growth with Grop. I don't know if we see as much with Firenze. So
that's true. I don't think Firenze's as dynamic of a character. If I go back to my 7th grade English class, learning about about dynamic characters, but I've got a real soft spot for Firenze. He's the hot professor.
He is the hot professor. Okay. That's a minute, so we'd have to choose someone to move forward. I personally am feeling Grop. What are you feeling?
No, I think Firenze.
Okay, we'll turn to the applause meter. It's time for everyone to get involved. So, if you think Firenze should advance, make some noise.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. If you think that Grop should advance, make some noise. That was really close.
Yeah, it was real close.
What are we thinking?
Do we have a tiebreaker?
No, we don't.
No, we don't have
I think that Firenze got a little bit more heat. So I'm going to say your pick of Firenze makes it on to the next round.
I'm not gonna.
Let's see if I can type now. Nope, Wheel of Death. Fantastic.
All right, so we're at Dobby and Firenze.
With Dobby and Firenze. Now it's Creature versus Winky, which is a very opposite ends. Yeah. I have a soft spot for Winky because of what happens to her. Yeah. But if we're trying to decide who's the best, does she do anything besides find herself on hard times and then be helped out by Dobby?
I mean, I like to believe that outside of what we see in the story in future years, she gets better, she heals, and she does a lot of wonderful things. But yeah, we just mostly see her when she's going through real super hard times.
Right. I don't know if it sounds like you're trying to write a Winky fanfic, which I am certainly here for.
I've got my redemption arc fanfic going for Winky the house elf.
They would have just shown her in the next book. But yeah, I don't know how much like actually happens with Winky as far as like we hope. I would have loved to see more Winky. If they ever finished the spew plot, like that could have been cool.
That's speaking of things that need redemption arcs. No, but with Creature, so gut-wrenching what happens in Deathly Hallows. When we first get Creature, it's like, okay, this grumpy house elf who's really annoying, and then what we get from him, again, character growth with Creature. And I totally forgot what I was going to say in Creature's defense.
But it sounded good, which is the key thing to podcasting. It's like you can do a lot of things where you sound like you're about to say a thing, and then you really haven't said anything, but you have said a thing. So you're doing great.
Yeah, thank you.
Creature, doesn't he cook some food for them that's really good, though?
Yeah, and he has a whole meal prepared, and they never come back, and it's real sad.
Okay. It's a minute. As much as I love Winky, I want to give the edge to Creature.
I want to as well.
Okay, we're giving the edge to Creature.
Agreement on that.
Creature advanced. Let's see if we can. No. Cool. All right. So now we're going to move on to a very fun one that I also think will be very quick. The 2-seed Peeves versus the 7-seed Grip Hook.
Grip Hook the Goblin.
Grip Hook the Goblin.
Versus Peeves the Poltergeist.
I don't see this being any realm of a contest.
I mean, I love Peeves. I am a huge fan of Peeves. But, Grip Hook is really a solid helper and character and, I think a very strong character.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Grip Hook helps and moves the plot along, and Peeves does not do anything for the plot. Like, these are the complete opposite. Like, Peeves
that is true. I mean, which one was cut out of the movies? Because he served the plot in 0 ways.
I know, but
I say that as someone who my number one gripe with the movies is I want Peeves to be in them. But I have to agree.
If Grip Hook wasn't in the movies, would there be 87 BuzzFeed listicles where it was like the top 10 characters that weren't in the Harry Potter movies? And I'd be like, we needed Grip Hook. Like, I don't know if anyone would be sad if he was left out. Like, if they melded him with Bograt or whoever. Like, I don't know if anyone are there Grip Hook stands out in the
I was
crowd
wondering
tonight?
who here is ready to defend Grip Hook with their life. Yeah, but you're totally right. I think, Peeves, maybe not necessary to the plot, but necessary to the heart.
Ooh, yeah. He's all vibes.
Yeah.
And I think
vibes.
Sometimes you need
Peeves
some
is
vibes.
all vibes.
Okay, so Peeves has moved on. We have finished. To recap now, moving on to the next round for the humanoid bracket would be Dobby, Firenze, Creature, and Peeves.
Wow, all right.
So now we're going to move on to a very fun one, pets. Now, Jackson, it's already well documented in the podcast that I've never had a pet, so I have an iceberg for a heart.
Oh, this is bad because I have had pets. I also have an iceberg for a heart.
So you've had pets, but you don't like them?
I mean, my pets were okay, but like when people show you like a picture of a cute puppy, I'm like, like, I think I'm missing the gene.
Oh, no. Well, I say all this as preamble because I've gotten flack for some things I've said on the Potterless podcast, such as Harry is 13, not 14, and Goblet of Fire. Many harshly worded emails.
Wow, we should cancel you.
Probably. The fact that I've survived this long, it's an anomaly. But I will say, like, when I was like, yeah, Hedwig's not that great, the DMs that I would get where people would be like, how dare you? Hedwig is a metaphor for Harry's childhood, and Hedwig was there from the beginning. Like, the negative backlash that I got for not liking Hedwig was pretty strong. And we were trying to do as much of this improv as possible, but we have decided, you did let me know backstage, you also don't think Hedwig's that great.
So I will say, I remembered, I have a patch on my jean jacket that says Hedwig lives. Like, I'm full in on the, like, Hedwig actually survived Deathly Hallows conspiracy theories, all in on that. But no, I do agree, like, owls in the magical world are very talented and very cool. I don't see how Hedwig is, like, that much more spectacular than any other owl.
Okay, such as the 8-seeded Errol.
Well, Errol, however, very spectacular owl. I mean, was a member of the Weasley family for how long? Delivered their mail for how long? Even after he was, like, very frail and not feeling good, was still up to the task and passionate about what he was doing.
Yeah.
You know?
You didn't have to sell me, but I'm sold. So, much to the dismay of everyone here and listening, Errol
I'm sure
moves
everyone
on,
agrees.
Upset. Oh, and look at that. It was meant to be. The first time the Google Doc worked is when I had to type Errol. See? Okay, moving on. So here's one that I think is actually going to be really heated, and I will set the timer for this. So 4 versus 5 seeds of Crookshanks versus Fang. And this is just the ultimate, like, are you a cat person? Are you a dog person? I know Crookshanks is like part Kneasel.
Yeah.
Is Fang just dog? That's
We're
great.
getting confirmation.
Like, the fact that thank you for everyone who, like, murmured yes in the crowd. Thank you. But I love that Hagrid is, like, all magical creatures, but, like, he also just has a dog.
Yeah. But that's because Fang is a pretty remarkable dog. Mm-hmm. And I'm a big fan of Crookshanks. I think Crookshanks, being half Kneasel, very smart. Mm-hmm. Anyone who loves Sirius, I love, so therefore I love Crookshanks. Very clever of Crookshanks to help out. But yeah, Fang, has to put up with all Hagrid's crap. Hagrid's always bringing in like weird creatures, and Fang's just like, okay, like we'll do this. In particular in Sorcerer's Stone, I was like rereading it, and when Hagrid gets Norbert, there's this scene where Fang just got like pushed out of the house and is just like sitting sadly in the garden. Like, oh, poor Fang.
I like that Fang helps to try to keep the kids safe in what was a terrible idea, where detention was, let's send these 10-year-olds into the or these 11-year-olds into the
Fang
Forbidden
knows.
Forest.
Fang knows what's up.
Crookshanks, like, I get that I think what happened to Crookshanks is a shame, because Crookshanks was on the trajectory to being really important, and then like, what does Crookshanks do after book 3?
Retires. Is just resting, having a good time, taking a step back.
So it's been a minute. Of these two, I would lean towards Fang. How are you feeling?
I actually would too.
All right.
I would lean towards. I know.
Whoa.
We're making all the enemies tonight. You really sold me. I started thinking about Fang as like Nana and Peter Pan, and was like, oh.
For everyone listening to the podcast at home, everyone has left the show. We're performing this live show to chairs now. So the next matchup, I also we did the seedings for this based on just like who we thought was the best before we like actually did the pairings, and some of them are really spicy. We've got 2 birds. We've got Fox and Pigwidgeon. I love Pigwidgeon so much, and I know it's irrational. Like, Pigwidgeon is small and tiny cute, but Pigwidgeon's trying their best to carry things.
Okay, sure, but like Fox saves how many lives?
I know.
Like, come on.
I should have fumbled the ranking so that Pigwidgeon could have made it past the first round.
I mean, that's true, because it is very sad that Pigwidgeon won't make it any further, but I'm sorry, Fox wins.
Yeah. I mean, it's just hard. Like, sometimes your team goes against just an unstoppable force, and like Pigwidgeon like tries his best and does all right. Fox tries his best and saves Harry's life and helps Dumbledore escape and like sings a sad song when Dumbledore dies. Like, is a phoenix. Like, that's cool just on its own.
Yeah.
It's really hard not to give the edge to Fox here, so I think we should. But
all right.
Shout out to Pigwidgeon. If this was who is the closest to my heart, you'd be number 1. So now another one. I think this is a very similar thing where we just have like a tour de force of a creature versus someone that I think is adorable. It's Buckbeak versus Trevor. Trevor's great, and I had forgotten. You had said something about like Trevor gets lost a lot. This was a complete blank. Like,
that's
what
all
does
I
Trevor
think
do
about
besides exist?
Yeah, Trevor's like Neville's just always losing Trevor. So I like to imagine that maybe Trevor's just off having these awesome adventures we don't know about. Like maybe Trevor's an animagus like Scabbers. Who knows?
Ooh, yeah, the Trevor spin-off book could be very, very fun. Yeah, I mean, but like Buckbeak is phenomenal.
Buckbeak is maybe my favorite on this whole board.
Like, is a hippogriff. Very cool.
Super cool.
Up for unjust execution and escapes that. Pretty sweet. Helps Sirius escape. Pecks Malfoy's arm just because he was rude.
Hell yeah.
Like, I also just think, like, as a hippogriff, like, the fact that it's written in, like, they're super nice unless you disrespect them. Like, that is the kind of energy that I want to channel into my life, where it's like, oh yeah, Mike Schubert's really nice until you do something bad to him.
I feel like, yeah, Buckbeak might be like the animal that is the most, like, the manifestation of Gryffindor.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, because I'm very Gryffindor. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, sweet. So I think Buckbeak will advance. So sweet. I'll just put a little B there. And then we'll move on now to the evil category of creatures. We had to get a little loose with this one, because what we did when we were deciding these creatures is we didn't want to do just like categories of creatures. We're trying to do creatures who were characters.
Right.
And also apologies to, like, I know I read the Fantastic Beasts thing where like there's a difference between like creature and being and beast and all of that, but I could not be bothered to read that book more than once. I was barely bothered to read it once. So I'm just saying creatures is the catch-all term here, but we had to get a little loosey-goosey with what defined evil here. As you'll see as our number 8 selection, the 8 seed, we've got Nagini versus the troll from the dungeon.
You know, equally powerful, equally important to the plot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's Nagini, right? And we are going book Nagini, not, she's actually been a Korean woman the whole time, Nagini.
Yeah, we don't even need
Nagini would have
to
totally
acknowledge
lost.
that.
Because that is nothing.
Yeah, no way. But, you know, props to the troll. He tried until an 11-year-old stuck a stick in his nose. It happens.
It happens, you know? And what was the troll even that evil? Like, did Coral do something to the troll to make him angry?
Yeah,
was there some sort of like Pavlov dog, like rat lab thing where they're like, oh, we've done this thing, so now he wants to like hurt a crying girl in a bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Quirrell just like led this troll somewhere that was not his usual environment. He was kind of freaked out and scared, and he's big, so he moved and he broke stuff. So I think that's all that happened.
So Dungeon Troll, if you're listening, you didn't lose because you were bad. It's just you're in the evil category and you weren't as evil.
Yeah.
There you are. It's fine. You actually have won by losing. So now we're going to move on to one that was like evil and one that like feels evil, even though it's not. It's the basilisk versus the albino peacock. And I've said this in the podcast, like it just feels racist. Like it's just, if you're going to be a blood purist, like what's your pet going to be like? Oh yes, the pet that like the entire thing of them is color, and they're like, get rid of that.
Because we're talking about, it's the one in the Malfoy's like front yard
Right,
or something.
specifically
right?
that one.
Yeah.
But
Definitely racist.
yeah, I mean, the albino peacock doesn't do much. I know there are fan theories about it being the Patronus
Right.
of a Malfoy, which I think is pretty cool. But the basilisk, like, it can turn people to stone and has venom and big fangs. And like, if we're going by movie basilisk, like, it has a really extensive fight scene for some reason. Like, basilisk brings a lot to the table.
Yeah, I mean, I hesitate to say that, like, on the basis of what the creature is makes them inherently evil, but, like, the basilisk feels pretty inherently evil, you know? Like, whoa, like, yeah, super villain kind of thing. Whereas the peacock, like, I mean, just because the peacock has been bought by the Malfoys and, like, put in their yard doesn't mean the peacock was doing anything wrong.
Here's Trevor is missing because he's trying to escape the peacock out of Malfoy Manor. And they're going to go off, and it's like a buddy cop adventure of the
yes.
Toad and the albino peacock.
It's like Frog and Toad, except that the Toad is a peacock.
Is a giant albino peacock.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, so the basilisk moves on. And now we will have one of... I love our 6 seed here. I like the Sphinx a lot. But we've got the Sphinx and Aragog. Aragog just terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Like, spider, first off, don't like. Giant spider, really don't like.
Yeah.
Giant venomous spider, really, really don't like. Oh, also, it can talk in full sentences? No!
I mean, got the Sphinx beat on that one. I like honestly just want to see the two of them like talk because they're both giant and they both like talk in interesting ways. Just with the Sphinx and riddles and Aragog, like I don't know. I just kind of want to see the two of them hang out.
I'm very disappointed that the Sphinx did not make its way into the movie because I don't know if the Sphinx is like an actual. Like, was it like an actual like lion thing that could like move around? Or I also imagine it's just like one of those, like, it is just like one of the statues from Egypt and it's just like there and its mouth moves like Olmec in Legends of the Hidden Temple. And it's like, Harry, here's this very easy riddle to solve.
Oh my God, now I'm just imagining.
Barracudas! Yeah.
Yeah, I'm imagining all of the third task as Legend of the Hidden Temple now. Cedric's got the helmet on.
The Triwizard Tournament should have just been Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yes.
We get rid of Ludo Bagman and
Wow.
we replace him with denim lover Kirk Fogg. He swings in on a rope swing. They have oh my God, like they've got all the teams. Slytherin can be the Silver Snakes.
Yeah.
Like it all works. TM.
We got someone pitch this Nickelodeon.
Dear Nickelodeon and Warner Brothers, I think you have something on the horizon. Okay, so yeah, as much as I love the Sphinx, I just feel like Aragog, like on a pure terror perspective, and also just like the creativity behind like what makes an acromantula like a creature, I feel like that's better. Do you?
Well, yeah, and I think also because for this particular bracket, we're kind of doing the which is more evil. Like, I don't think the Sphinx is particularly evil.
Like, what if Harry got it wrong? What would the Sphinx have done? Just like smacked him? No, incorrect. Guess again.
Yeah, I would choose to believe that. That is my.
Or so like Jeopardy, it's like, yo, you're now at negative $200, Harry. Next question.
Harry's opening his pockets.
It's like, oh, damn it, daily double.
Look, I need a deposit.
Okay, and finally, one that I think, I made her the number 2 seed because we don't know a lot about her, but she just feels so evil. Mrs. Norris and Fluffy. I know Mrs. Norris just like is a cat. So we think. And just like kind of like meows at people. But like, I'm still terrified of Mrs. Norris.
Yeah. No, Mrs. Norris is terrifying because she's the harbinger. Like you see her and you know you're about to get in trouble.
Yeah. And just, I don't know. Filch has bad vibes. Mrs. Norris is like worse vibes Filch. And Fluffy, again, like, do we know is Fluffy just like a creature that Hagrid knows? He's not like...
This is like one of his buds.
Like, what does Fluffy do after book 1? Where does Fluffy go?
That is a wonderful question.
Does Fluffy live in the Forbidden Forest?
I think that Fluffy went to a farm upstate.
Oh, no! But I think the thing with Fluffy is, like, I don't think Fluffy really, like, was so evil. It was just, like, same kind of thing as the troll. It was, like, they were using Fluffy for something. It was, like, guard this trapdoor. And then Fluffy was like, great. And then like, play music, get sleepy. I listen to music to fall asleep. Like, it
makes you pretty evil, I think.
It does, yeah. I should be canceled for that too, probably, honestly. Okay, so we'll move on. We'll move on, Mrs. Norris. And that finishes out the evil bracket. And now we get into the Hufflepuff bracket, which is just the everybody else. We've got some really fun ones here, and we had to get spicy with this one. Like, we backstage, I was on the top 200 Harry Potter Sporkle quiz. Kelly was on like a Wikipedia of like every creature, and then Jackson was going from like fandom page to Harry Potter wiki page. And
I found a Reddit that was it. It was like because I was just looking at like non-human Harry Potter characters, and the Reddit thread was, which non-human Harry Potter character would you most like to have sex with?
Top result, Google. Thank you.
Yep.
So, first one here, 1 seed Phineas Nigellus versus the 8 seed, the Night Bus Head, which of course we all know by his actual name, Dre Head, which we all remember, of course. Night Bus Head.
Why was that in the movie? Like, that was such a weird choice.
We'll never know.
Also, oh my God, I just realized I found a website yesterday called YouFellAsleepWatchingADVD.com. And it's just like it's a drawing of a living room. There's a little TV screen. You can choose from 8 movies, one of which is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
And is it just the DVD menus?
It just plays the DVD menus on loop, and you just hear the shrunken head being like, take it away, Ern.
Shout out to having a slumber party where you would like pause the movie at some point, everyone would fall asleep, and then because it was paused for 30 minutes, the DVD makers decided, here's what we should do after 30 minutes of it being paused. Should we turn it off? No. We should play the menu, which is at full volume. So, you know, if you're watching CaddyShack and then like 30 minutes go by and then it's like, I'm all right. Like, oh, thank you, Gopher Dancing at 2 a.m. Now we're all awake. So...
Yeah, so I think Shrunken Head, crucial to the DVD menu, not so crucial to the plot.
And I'm like not going to lose to Phineas Nigellus.
Exactly.
Like, come on. Like, get off my lawn, the painting. Mwah. No way. Like, grumpy old man, yes.
Yeah, no.
Can't lose.
I think Phineas Nigellus, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
I think Phineas makes it through. So now we've got one. We had to get so fast and loose with it that we had to go into the Fantastic Beasts film franchise for this one. The 4-seeded Niffler versus the 5-seeded Boa Constrictor. Now, everyone might be wondering, the Boa Constrictor as the 5 seed, that seems a bit high. But you forgot that the Boa Constrictor says, adios amigos, when it leaves the zoo. I'm just going to end my argument there. What do you think about these 2 creatures?
I mean, I think the Niffler would be having a ball on this stage.
That's true. But would the Niffler, is the Niffler smart enough to realize that these were certainly not real $100 bills?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the Niffler mostly likes shiny things, so American money loses out on that one.
Yeah. Yes, I used money guns. I did not use pound guns.
Everyone's getting, oh, God.
Oh, God. Everyone signed a waiver before they showed up to Potterless Live.
No, I mean, I think the Boa Constrictor just plays such a crucial role in like Harry's early discovery process, and yeah, seems real cool. And it's just like, oh, this kid's talking to me. All right, I'm gonna keep talking to him. Be real chill about it.
Sweet, good. Boa Constrictor moves on. Fantastic. So now we have number 3. I've written it as the portrait of the most beautiful lady in the world because that is what they call the fat lady painting in Wizard People Dear Reader, and I think that's great because I think naming the character the fat lady is incredibly rude and unnecessary. And now looking back, we should not be surprised.
I think that's the crucial thing. Yeah.
J.K. Rowling was like, yeah, we should make a character that's called the Fat Lady. Should that be it? No, let's have a second character called the Fat Friar. Yeah. And the Dursleys, all we know about them, and all we're going to talk about is their weight, and that's it. Thanks, J.K. Super fun.
Yeah, it's the subtext that your weight is an indication of your personality and being a good human. That's the bad part of this.
Of course.
Thanks, J.K.
Thanks. So this instead, the portrait of the most beautiful woman in the world, or the ghoul in the attic.
Specifically, Ronald Weasley's
Specifically,
attic.
the Weasley family ghoul.
I mean, I love the ghoul so much because that was one of those details that like you totally don't get from the movie, but like one of those just super weird things about the books where you're reading and you're like, wait a second, what?
And then like you gotta give credit to the ghoul for like being the decoy of Ron if someone ever like checked in on him.
That's right.
Because they never say in the book if like they actually had to do it, but like I would have loved a deleted scene, extra thing or something where like who would they send? Like they'd send whoever Percy Weasley was, but not Percy Weasley.
Right,
like
yeah.
someone's intern. Like I'm trying. Like Lee Jordan gets a job that he doesn't like at the Ministry of Magic, and then he's got to go and like check on the Weasleys. And they're like, "That's definitely Ron," and he's like, "Okay, yeah, that's Ron."
Didn't he say he like had spattergroit?
He said he had spattergroit. I don't know what spattergroit does. It sounds terrible.
Sounds real gross.
It sounds gross. Maybe it makes you look like a ghoul in the attic. Also, when I was first reading these, I don't know if this is my brain being wrong, but I always imagined ghoul to be like a specter, like a ghost of sorts. So when in the books they were like, "Oh yeah, the ghoul in the attic is going to look like Ron," I was like, "What the? No, how?" Like they're going to like see through him and be like, "Yep, definitely a 16, 17-year-old kid." So that's a teenager. So I don't know. But as far as the beautiful lady, she is a password. She sings really loudly and tries to break a glass.
Yeah, in the movies, yeah.
She gets attacked by Sirius Black.
Very scary.
Does she contribute anything besides
I know. I think
being
she
there?
does. I think she kind of works as a bit of like a house mother for the kids at boarding school. You know, I think she serves as a little bit of a maternal figure.
Yeah.
We hear some of that when I think Molly Weasley was recounting like her days with Arthur. Like they were out past curfew and they got in trouble with her, and so I kind of like her for that reason. You know, I think she's that sort of motherly figure for all of them while they're away from home.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I feel like this is pretty even. I think we should turn to the crowd for an applause-o-meter thing here. So, if you think that the ghoul in the attic should move on, make some noise.
Oh.
Got some ghoul fans. Okay, and what about the portrait of the most beautiful woman in the world? I think it was very close.
Yeah, I think the ghoul.
I think the ghoul, just because that one guy in the here area, which
Number
might
one
have been
ghoul.
Johnny, was really big for the ghoul in the attic. So the ghoul advances. And now we get into one that's very fun. 2-seated Sir Cadogan versus the 7-seated Arnold the Pygmy Puff that belongs to Ginny Weasley.
I think
I don't know what Arnold does besides exist and being cute, which is very important.
I'll tell you what Arnold the Pygmy Puff does. Arnold the Pygmy Puff has made Warner Brothers so much money at Wizarding World because it is like the #1 bought object at the theme parks. You just see people walking around everywhere with these giant like pink pillows.
Yeah, very adorable, very cute. Don't know what it contributes. Sir Cadogan, he's like the guy that tries too hard, but it's like endearing.
Yeah,
Like
most of the time.
It's most of the time.
Sometimes it's too much.
Like he's a bit too much, but it's like he means well.
Yeah.
He's like if Tiny Dog Syndrome was a night painting, where like I imagine Sir Cadogan's like 5'2", and he's like got armor that's too big, and he keeps dropping his jousting pole and stuff.
Wow, I relate to that a lot.
Like I feel like Sir Cadogan is trying real hard and like putting his best foot forward, but he's got 2 left feet, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think all of that does make him really endearing. I really like him. I don't like that he sort of endangers the safety of the students.
Because does he give away a password?
I think so, something like that. But
That's
again,
not
he was kind of trying his best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always really liked Sir Cadogan.
I think he's going to move on mainly because he's going up against Arnold the Pygmy Puff. There's not much of a competition
That
there.
does seem like a very Sir Cadogan thing of, we're going to put you in this competition against a pygmy puff.
I will slay this beast! So, yeah. Okay, so that rounds out the Hufflepuff division. And that brings us to round 2. Okay, so now for round 2, so that we're not just doing this same thing for an hour and a half, much like we did during November Nuttiness, for round 2, we're going to switch up the rules a little bit. I also forgot to mention that, of course, like March Madness, this also has a fun name. We're here in August, so this is August Absurdity, and we're deciding who's the best creature. Now, round 2, what we're going to do is we're each going to pick a person to argue on behalf of, and we each have only 10 words maximum to say as our reasoning for why they should win, and then all of these will be applause-o-meter decisions. So I will give you the first choice. Dobby versus Firenze. Who would you like to give a 10-word description of why they are better?
Firenze.
Okay.
Firenze. I have never known which it is.
And no one ever will know.
Because they mix it up. The audiobooks, the movies, they keep mixing it up. It's like Accio, Asio.
I think Accio.
I
if
say
you have
Accio.
2 C's, I think you're going to pronounce the C properly.
Well, you're the Latin guy.
Thank you very much. I did take Latin in high school in case anybody didn't know. So, 10 Firenze/Firenze words.
He's a better divination. Oh, divination is one word. He's a better divination teacher. And also, he's really hot.
That's great. Well done. Well done. Well done. Okay, Dobby, let's see. Starts rough. Overcomes this. Becomes adorable. Saves Winky. Tragically dies.
You put so much into that. That's like 10 facts.
He does a lot.
That's
He
true.
does a whole heck of a lot. So, turning to the crowd, if you think that Dobby should move forward, make some noise. Spicy. And if you think Firenze/Firenze should move on, make some noise. Yeah!
Thank you.
Big Centaur fan in the front. Okay. Dobby advances. So now
That's what Dobby deserves. That applause. He would have loved to hear that.
he would have loved that. Okay, so now we have Creature versus Peeves.
Oh,
so
jeez.
I will,
You love Peeves.
I love
I think
Peeves.
you should
so
do
I will
Peeves.
take Peeves. I will say, okay. So funny that they had to remove him from movies. Because I've heard the rumors that they cast him and he did some scenes with the kids and they laughed too much and they were like, we can't use any of this footage. That's my defense of Peeves. What about Grumpy Boy Creature?
Grumpy boy creature. Let's see. Was a real asshole. It's one word.
Great start. Hell yeah, baby.
But then was nice and sad.
Okay, if you think Creature should move on to the next round, make some noise. All right, all right. And what about Peeves the Poltergeist? Okay.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on now to the pets. Okay, you have to go for Errol, obviously. So this matchup is Errol versus Fang. So I will give you the 10-word floor for Errol.
Okay. The best owl that ever lived, so loyal, so pure.
Oh, incredible. Okay. The goodest boy, a non-magical beast surrounded by magicals.
Magicals.
Magicals. Okay, if you think Fang should move on, make some noise. And what about Errol, the greatest owl who ever lived? All right.
Wow, we've really sold him on Errol tonight.
Cinderella story. The 8 seed moves on. Let's go. Errol's busting all the brackets.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so now we have Fox versus Buckbeak.
Oh, okay.
Who would you like to take out of these two?
I think Buckbeak, but
Okay.
I'm struggling to think of something. Maybe
Okay.
do you have something with Fox?
I'll
You
go. Yeah,
first.
I'll go with Fox, and I'll go first. You have to admit, Fox has got style. Firebird.
I shouldn't have let you go first. That was too good. Let's see. Buckbeak will save your life unless you get on his bad side.
Ooh. Okay.
That was 10 words
That was
exactly.
10 words.
Exactly 10
I'll give
words.
You used Buckbeak in the beginning of the sentence.
And that was
like the
unnecessary.
SATs would have made you,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm smart enough to know what you're referring to in the subject line. So, if you think Buckbeak should move on, make some noise. If you think Fox should move on, make some noise. Okay.
This
All right.
was a stacked deck, I think. Buckbeak versus Fox.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially because now it's Fox versus Errol.
Well, Errol was the best bird that ever lived.
Marinated in that when we get to round 3. So now we have Nagini versus
the basilisk.
I
Ooh,
want
snake versus snake. Ooh.
Yeah.
Who do you want to argue on behalf
I
of?
don't like either of them.
I don't either.
I'll do the basilisk.
Okay, sweet. I'll go with Nagini. Had a giant sphere ball. That's pretty cool, I guess.
Don't look unless through a camera. I guess that works.
Okay, that's really good. If you think Nagini should move on, make some noise. If you think the basilisk should move on, make some noise.
Oh, right.
Yeah. The amount of workarounds where they're like, no, looking through a viewfinder, that doesn't count.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, Harry was wearing glasses. What is? Ghost is fine. I don't know. I
Nothing
don't
makes
understand
sense.
it.
Basilisks, like, I think, aren't they born by like putting a chicken egg, or it's like a chicken egg under a frog is how a basilisk is born?
Something like
Nothing
that.
makes sense. And like roosters kill them or something, right?
Yo, the crow of the rooster is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More wild. Absolutely wild. Nothing makes sense. Okay, so now we've got Aragog, the Acromantula, versus Mrs. Norris.
Oh man.
Oh, man. Who would you like to go on behalf of?
I guess Mrs. Norris.
Okay, Aragog.
Let's see.
Leg, and then what's it like? Venom.
That was real good. That was real clever. All right, Mrs. Norris. Let's see. She is the worst, even worse than her owner.
Filch.
Oh, is that? Filch, yeah. I was trying to think of a better 10th word, but we'll just say that, yeah.
I thought you forgot the name of
No.
Okay, if you think that Aragog should move forward, make some noise. If you think Mrs. Norris, the cat, should move forward, make some noise. Well done. Very well done. Okay. And now we can go on to the Hufflepuff bracket.
All right.
All right. So we've got Phineas Nigellus
Yeah.
versus the boa constrictor. My heart.
Yeah, I feel like you felt really strongly about Phineas Nigellus.
I do.
So why don't you do that?
Okay. All right. Hey kids, get off my lawn! I said no bikes.
Also, what the hell is a bike?
What is this TikTok you kids are doing?
Okay.
Phineas Nigellus is definitely like a southerner with a porch. Like he's rocking in his rocking chair, like nursing a straight bourbon in a full mason jar.
Wow. Yeah, that actually like really strongly works. Not British anymore in my head. All right. So but is it a boa constrictor or is it another type of snake? Does anyone know?
I don't know. We said boa constrictor.
It is a boa
backstage.
constrictor.
Okay, sweet.
I've
Good.
been like doubting us.
At least you get like, I don't know. The whole podcast is that I've read the books once, so it's okay. We all understand it here.
All right. This kid's talking to me. Dang, that's weird. Adios, amigos.
Oh, well done, well done. Okay, if you think that Phineas Nigellus should advance, make some noise. Okay. If you think the boa constrictor should advance, make some noise. All right. Adios, amigo. Hello, Elite 8. I'm the boa constrictor. All right, and now we've got the ghoul in the attic versus Sir Cadogan.
I forgot we put the ghoul through.
I feel like you should. I feel like you have stronger Sir Cadogan feelings.
I do. Let's see. Okay, Sir Cadogan. He's a short king, but yet he has big dick energy.
I like it. Okay, ghoul in the attic. Yeah, I'm definitely Ron Weasley. Don't ask further questions.
Just cut it there. Or was that 10?
I think that was 10, unless I miscounted.
I don't know. I thought it was less,
I'm
but
not
I
an
was
engineer
like,
anymore.
no more.
I can't count. I just talk for my job.
It's 10 words max, right?
I think so. Yeah. Bank. I send the other words to the bank. We're on the show, The Weakest Link. Okay. If you think that the ghoul in the attic should move forward, make some noise. If you think that Sir Cadogan should move forward, make some noise.
I think the ghoul has got it.
yeah,
I think the ghoul has got it. Wow.
Ghoul fans really turned out tonight.
Okay, so now as we get into the Elite Eight, we've got Dobby versus Peeves in the humanoid.
Ooh.
We've got Errol versus Fox in the pets.
Oh, man.
We've got the Basilisk versus Mrs. Norris for evil.
The Basilisk already beat Mrs. Norris.
And then we have the Boa Constrictor versus the Ghoul in the Attic.
Those were the two that were like, oh, I guess we'll add these.
We'll add these. Amazing. But before we continue, my microphone is being a little weird. Hey, it's me editing, Mike. How's it going, everyone? So we are about to have intermission, and this is very fun because to get the full podcasting experience, we actually have an ad read for this episode of Potterless because the fine folks at the Leaky Cauldron, who have brought you Mischief Management merch and LeakyCons, are sponsoring Potterless, which is very cool. So I have some things that I'm going to tell you about them, and then we're going to break to intermission and tell you what's up. But first off, huge shout out to them for sponsoring the tour. Thank you so much. Shout out to Melissa and Ellie, who's in the crowd. And also, LeakyCon. Obviously, unfortunately, those things have had to be delayed because of the world. But LeakyCon's the largest unofficial Harry Potter fan convention celebrating fandom and the impact on the world that Harry Potter has had. I've been to them. They're fantastic. Jackson's been to them.
I've been almost all of the LeakyCons. They're amazing.
They're a good time. In 2022, there's going to be 2 of them in Orlando, July 29th to 31st to celebrate Harry's birthday, and only Harry's birthday. And then in Denver in October 14th to 16th, 2022 for a magical start to the Halloween season. So there have been some fun stuff. There's I've done live Potterlesses. We've done in-depth discussions just about how do portraits work? I don't know. And then me, Melissa, and Pro Makosa got scolded by a 10-year-old in the crowd who was like, actually, here's how they work. And we were just like, yes.
Yeah, those 10-year-olds in the crowd will fact check you hard.
I have never felt more I already feel weird being like, oh yeah, I'm a Harry Potter expert. I've read the books once. And then just being on stage and then this 10-year-old is like, you've been wrong for 45 minutes, Mike Schubert, and I'm 10. So there's some fun stuff there. You can learn more at leakycon.com and at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at LeakyCon. And then also, they've got some merch. So Mischief Merch is creating fandom-inspired merch from Harry Potter and the MCU to Broadway and the TV shows that you can't stop watching on repeat. Every Mischief Merch project is created by some of the biggest fans just like you, and because you're a Potterless listener, you can get 10% off your purchase with the code Potterless at mischiefmerch.com. So that was the Wingardium Adridosa live in person. First time we've ever done that. But yes, so we're gonna take a brief 10-minute intermission so you can get some drinks, get some food, use the facilities. But until then, we'll see you all in 10 minutes or so. Woohoo!
Hey, Pass Mike, before we get back to the conclusion of intermission, we actually have a sponsor not in the live show space for this episode of Potterless. This episode of Potterless is brought to you by HBOMAX. Let's say hypothetically that you are me, Mike Schubert, and you never read the Harry Potter books as a kid, and you start a podcast, and eventually you cover all of the books, and then you get to a point where you need to cover the movies. So what you need to do is you need to watch all the Harry Potter movies in a short span of time. What's going to make that process easy? If all of those Harry Potter movies are in the same place that you can access at the touch of a couple buttons or a few clicks of the mouse. Well, you're in luck because in September and October, the Harry Potter movies, all 8 of them, are on HBO Max. When I was watching the films, it was frustrating. They weren't all in one place. I had to go from place to place to watch it and to stream it, and I was on the move for some of it, so DVDs didn't work. It was a whole ordeal, and if they were all in one place, that would have made my life so much easier. And now they are all in one place, and that place is HBO Max. HBO Max has the Harry Potter movies in celebration of the 20th anniversary of the Sorcerer's Stone, which to you probably feels more wild than it does for me, because you might have seen that movie when it came out, and you're thinking, that was 20 years ago? Whereas for me, I don't really know, man. I watched it 5 years ago, but still, these movies are old, and 20th anniversary is a huge deal, and what better way to celebrate this than watching all of the movies in one place, just one big marathon Harry Potter session. Sounds like a great use of a weekend to me. So if you go into the description of this podcast, you can click the link below to check out all the incredible content on HBO Max at hbom.ax/Potterless. Again, that is hbom.ax/POTTERLESS. So visit now and sign up for HBO Max to start streaming Harry Potter and so much more. And not only can you be like me, Mike Schubert, who wanted to watch all these movies in a short span of time, but you can be even more efficient than I was in the past and watch them all in the same place. And before I go, you're about to hear words from some sponsors supporting the show, also keeping it going, making it feasible for me to do this as a job. They are locally inserted, so if you live in Japan, don't be surprised if you hear a Japanese ad.
No wasted time. We have important things to discuss.
I am here to defend Errol. I am ready. This is my mission.
I would like to say before we continue, my buddy Noah's in the crowd and he texted me, quote, "The punch tree got robbed." He is so right that the Whomping Willow should have been on this bracket.
Although listen,
Does it count?
Yeah, is the Whomping Willow like a sentient creature or just like an enchanted tree?
I don't know. I did.
Yes, so both.
I did when we were trying to flush out the yellow section. I did have one where I was like, should we have Neville's pus plant?
Oh,
should that be one of the creatures? Okay.
Yeah, enchanted plants or not enchanted. Well, it's like plant
Future
cells
live
versus
show, best
animal
Harry
cells.
Potter plants.
Wow, you'll get like all the houseplant internet people really excited about that.
Oh, man. Okay, so round 3, we're going to make acrostics for round
yes.
3. If anyone doesn't know what an acrostic is, it's when you turn like each letter into a word. So if we were doing Mike, it would be like, many intellectuals know everything. Wow, I'm so sorry.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know everything. I barely know anything. I don't even know how old Harry was in the 4th book. So, where we have left off now, this is the Elite 8. We've got Dobby versus Peeves. And we have to do an acrostic. Would you like to do Dobby or Peeves?
I'll do Dobby.
Okay.
Dies on... B is a hard word.
Well, he does die on the beach.
Oh, dies on beach bravely. Yes.
Wow, okay. All right. Peeves. Poltergeist. Eliciting entertainment.
Ooh.
Very entertaining specimen. All right, if you think that Peeves should move on, make some noise. If you think Dobby should move on, make some noise. Whoa! Well done, Dobby.
I just keep
Advances.
getting so excited for Dobby, how much love he's getting.
Okay, now we've got, as we all predicted, Errol versus Fox.
I mean, this is the ultimate battle. It's so close.
So I will let you take the floor with Errol. Or here, you take Errol. I will go with Fox, and I will start.
Okay, go.
Fiery awesome wings. Nightly evacuation of students.
Nightly of okay,
Like-
yeah.
Like a knight, and he flies in.
nightly with a K. Got
Nightly
it.
evacuation of the students
Yeah.
that he saves.
No, that was very clever. You brought your hairbrush on stage?
Look, when you're a podcaster, you only get seen like once every now and then. You gotta look good.
All right, Errol acrostic. Everyone really reads owls lovingly. I did not do well defending Errol. I failed at my task.
If you think Errol should move on, make some noise. If you think Fox should move on, make some noise. All right, okay.
I'm sorry, Errol.
It's okay.
I did not try my best.
He made it far. He made it very, very far. Okay, so now we've got the Basilisk versus Mrs. Norris. Who would you like to defend?
I think I did both of these last time, actually.
Ooh.
Yeah, so why don't you pick? Which do you like
Okay,
better?
I'll do Mrs. Norris.
Okay.
Meow. Rar. Scratch. Period. Night overwatching. Really risky if seen.
Wow.
Thank you to the 6 people who went,
For an
I also did that. I think I pulled that out of somewhere.
yeah, for an acrostic that started with meow, that ended up really strong.
Really turn that one around.
Okay, Basilisk. Bad at sensing in light in some cases with a K.
Nice. Okay. All right. Very good. If you think Mrs. Norris should advance, make some noise. If you think the Basilisk should advance, make some noise. I think Mrs. Norris got
Yeah,
it.
I think so.
Mrs. Norris, wow.
Wow. You know
she
what?
wins the evil bracket.
No, she's getting her revenge on the basilisk with this.
That's true. Amazing. The
Mrs.
plot
Norris's
lines.
revenge coming soon to Netflix.
That's the kind of thing that like ESPN pundits would be. Like,
Oh,
the narrative. They'd be all about it. Okay. Now, of course, as we all thought, we've got the boa constrictor versus the ghoul in the attic.
These are gonna be real long
I
across.
think we'll just do boa and ghoul.
Oh, boa. Okay.
Okay, let's see. I would like to defend the boa. Brave omitting adios amigos.
Oh yeah, I see what you did. That was good.
My brain was just like, the A is adios and you'll figure everything else out.
Let's see. Ghoul. Okay, ghoul. Goes home only. Under.
A lie.
Under a lie. So good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good. Thanks for the assist.
I think it was really, you set it up so well. It was like the alley-oop dunk. This podcast is now hoarse. Okay, so if you think that the boa constrictor should advance, make some noise. If you think the ghoul in the attic should advance, make some noise. All right, baby. Wow.
Wow,
Okay.
really the winner of the night.
Wow.
I
All right,
mean,
so
might
now
be.
we've reached the final four. This is intense. So now they're going into different brackets. So representing the humanoids is Dobby, and representing the is the ghoul in the attic. And what we've got for our special rules here is that whoever you defend, you must do so in rhyme.
And now, what meter are we using?
I think just a couplet could work, or you know what, you could do whatever, and anything is fine. Just
so long as it rhymes.
or
that was a slant rhyme
unless you do a haiku, which I will also support.
Oh.
So
Haiku seems too close to round two. with
yeah,
the 10,
that's quite true. So Dobby or Ghoul in the Attic, who would you like to rhyme about?
I kind of want to see where you'll go with Ghoul in the
Okay,
attic.
sweet.
Yeah.
Why don't you kick us off, or do you want me to go first, or do you want to kick it off?
If you've got something,
Okay,
you go.
all right. I think that the Ghoul in the Attic is pretty toit because it was a lie that it was Ron having spattergroit.
Well, dang. Dobby rarely did anything for himself, and so here lies a brave elf.
That's really good. That's really good. Just to make sure, if you think that the Ghoul in the Attic should move on, make some noise. Thanks, Johnny. Best man at my wedding for a reason. If you think that Dobby should move on, make some noise. Very good. Very good.
That was tough to put them up against each other because, like, Ghoul felt like that was the fan favorite tonight. I was really pushing for the Ghoul, but Dobby, you can't.
It's also the fan favorite because we, like, eliminated all of the other ones. We're like, yeah, Buckbeak, whatever. All right, so now we've got Fox versus Mrs. Norris. I did Mrs. Norris last time, so I feel like you should
Okay.
have the Mrs. Norris floor, the Mrs. Florris, if you will. Who boo? Get out! You know what podcast you bought a ticket to see.
Mrs. Norris has a meow, not a bark. But you know what? I loved tonight's redemption arc.
Ooh, very good. Okay. Fox bestows awe upon each person he passes, and also when he rises from the ashes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, if you think that Mrs. Norris should advance, make some noise. If you think that Fox should advance, make some noise. Okay.
I agree. I think Fox should win this one.
Okay, so
Oh, does this mean, oh my God.
Dobby versus Fox. This is
Whoa!
great.
This is
great.
This is how it should be.
It's not the journey, it's the destination, and we've arrived at two powerhouses.
Okay.
So the rule, and I've realized I shouldn't have done this because you have literally given a TED Talk. The rules for this is we each give a TED Talk about the person that we're defending, so I am at a huge disadvantage here. But
I also took 16 weeks to write my TED Talk.
You have
Whereas you do
16
improv.
That is true. So I will first. Who would you like to give your TED Talk about?
We still have
Dobby
to
or
pick
Fox?
just one. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go with Fox.
Okay, and then I will have Dobby. Would you like to go first or second?
Second, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, so I've got.
I'm real nervous now.
Okay, so I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock because that's how long everyone watches a TED Talk before they turn it off. Unless they're watching yours, of course.
No, it's okay. The first 3 minutes of mine is the best.
Okay, I'll put 3 minutes on the clock. Obviously, I'm going to stand.
Oh yeah, get on the red dot. Where we?
I should have got like a little headset mic thing and been like, hello,
yeah.
guys. Okay, so 3 minutes on the clock to talk about Dobby. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So the thing about Dobby is that he's the most interesting creature in that when he comes onto the books, what does he do in book 2? He is a nuisance. That's it. He is terrible. He is annoying. He is shrill. Jim Dale, when he was doing the narration of the audiobook, was like, how do I make everyone's ears bleed? And you think, like, there's no way that this character could be redeemed. But the fact that Dobby had the worst start ever, like such a terrible start, comparable to, I don't know, a podcast where you would intentionally add echo into sound because you didn't know how to use GarageBand, and you also recorded it in your loft apartment in Houston where it was the echoiest room possible, and then you added more echo. Now you're a professional podcaster? Anyway, Dobby had such a terrible, terrible start, but then he did always mean well. He just didn't know how to communicate. We've all been there. We all know that we have things in our hearts that we're struggling to, express and get out. And that's just Dobby. He was under strict rules of how house elves work. We're not even going to get into how that's the most terrible thing ever. But he's under these strict rules, and he can't say all these things, but he still finds a way to he becomes free. And not only just becoming free, but he becomes free through a bullshit loophole. And that's the best. He's like, thanks for giving me this sock, Lucius. So that is how he makes that work. Incredible, incredible stuff. But it doesn't stop there because then in the Goblet of Fire, Dobby cares for Winky. Dobby's gotten out of the house elf indentured servitude situation. But Winky is down on her luck. And what does Dobby do? He helps her out. Dobby eventually finds the room of requirement, and it just like turns into, I guess, a place where you'd go if you had hangovers. So it's just got like Pedialyte and couches and like bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches and like Netflix that isn't going to ask you after 3 hours, are you sure you still want to watch Parks and Rec? Yes, Netflix! Stop judging me! I'm going through a lot. I didn't hydrate last night. So he takes care. He takes care of Winky when she's down on her luck. And it doesn't stop there because going on later on, he like actually helps save the world. Like teleports in, uses his magic in Malfoy manner, uses magic that wizards can't do. I get confused between the books and the movies, but like basically drops a chandelier on top of Bellatrix. Like absolute power move. Like that's something they do in Clue the movie. It'd be like, oh, it was Dobby in Malfoy manner with the chandelier. Like drops it on Bellatrix and then just like dying the most tragic death and just going out and just his final quote of just saying that like Harry is his friend and now Dobby is happy. It's like to go from like I hated Dobby more than anyone has ever hated Dobby in the world, and that I like him that much now. I just think overcoming that is really impressive, and that's my TED Talk. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk about Dobby.
Why'd I say I'd go second?
Because they'll all forget 3 minutes is a long time.
3 minutes? I was honestly like, he forgot to set the timer, I think.
You also don't have to use the full 3 minutes. Okay, 3 minutes are on the clock. Use them as you wish. Tell us about Fox.
All right, yeah. Well, so you know how in the 7th book, well, I mean, some of us kind of felt it before, but we find out that Dumbledore was like not so great, or at least not great all the time. You know, we really got it revealed. Dumbledore, not the best, not the saint that we all thought he was. Here's what I like to think about Fox, is that Fox is sort of like the manifestation of the pure goodness that was in Dumbledore's heart, right? Of the good that did exist there, because we are all humans. We are all complex, nuanced creatures. We have some some good, we have some bad, but I think Fawkes represents the best part of Dumbledore, and maybe the best part of all of us. I mean, Fawkes came in to save Harry in Chamber of Secrets. How did he know that was happening? I mean, that is a little complaint that I have. Very Deus Ex Machina, a bird literally like flying out of the heavens to just like wrap everything up and like save things. The student evacuation that happens. It's like, oh, how are we gonna get out of here? Oh wait, this bird, I guess, can lift 4 of us, 3 children and a grown man. Sure, that'll work.
Here's a hat with a sword in it.
Right? Yeah. But what I really do like about Fawkes is the fact that Fawkes is a phoenix, right? J.K. Rowling didn't invent the phoenix thing. Fawkes is a phoenix. When Harry first meets Fawkes, he thinks that he's a crumpled hat or something laying in Dumbledore's office, and then Harry gets to watch Fawkes explode. Thinks that he does it, feels terrible. Can you imagine you go to the principal's office and you accidentally kill their pet? Oh, God. Feels like something I would have done, to be honest. But he watches Fawkes be reborn. And even when Fawkes is first reborn, kind of like Wobbly, this little baby doesn't really know what's going on, is still new to the world, isn't the perfect, powerful, majestic, life-saving Fawkes just yet. He has to, every time that he's reborn, sort of relearn and get there again. And eventually, Fawkes becomes this powerful creature that isn't just powerful in getting to save people and being superhuman, being able to carry apparently, 3 people, 4 people, but also has the emotional side of power. The song that the Phoenix sings and his tears and the emotion that he has is what literally saves people and heals people. And I love that. It's not just the brute strength, it is the power of the emotion and the expression of the emotion. But ultimately, what I love so much about Fawkes is that he reminds all of us that we are all able to be reborn. In the same way that Dobby, we didn't like Dobby at first. Dobby made a lot of mistakes. Dumbledore made so many mistakes throughout his life in his pursuit of what he thought was justice and what he thought was right. But what Fawkes reminds all of us is that we all have that opportunity to start again. And even when we start again, you don't have to be perfect right away. You have time to grow and you can change and you will still be able to be that powerful, life-saving figure like Fawkes eventually.
Stop going against authors in live shows. Okay, so final decision. It's the applause-o-meter to settle it all. If you think that Dobby should win as the best non-human character, make some noise. If you think that Fawkes should win, make some noise. Hey! Fawkes is the winner! You've done it. Fantastic. And I typed it wrong. Yay.
Oh, no.
Yay.
It's F-O-X.
Oh, and now
that was a You've Got
Fawkes.
Mail
Amazing.
reference.
Woo! Awesome. Great. Okay, so we've got some time. I'm going to pull up the emails that people may or may not have sent in.
Some owl post.
So Hilla asks, in a perfect world where JK wasn't transphobic / the worst in general and / or she didn't make any money off of this, which of the following HBOMAX shows would you prefer? A Marauders backstory, a McGonagall backstory, a dramedy about the trio and friends dealing with PTSD after book 7 with a special focus on Ron and Hermione's dysfunctional but adorable relationship, or 4, a Puff-style Luna Lovegood show where we get to see her go through all 7 years of her Hogwarts experience.
I mean, I don't know, but I wish you could have this job.
Yeah,
you've got some
HBOMAX,
good pitches there.
Find Hilla in the crowd. Hire her, Hilla, immediately. I feel like of these, I feel like McGonagall backstory could be fun, just because she's so great. It is messy now that the Fantastic Beasts franchise has decided that she is every age and no age at the same time. Like, she's old and also never has been born. I have no idea what's going on there. I do like the idea of like a parallel thing. I think that was what's really fun about Puffs, is seeing the parallel stuff. So like just seeing Luna go through stuff, that would also give us the opportunity to see what happened like at the school when the squad was gone. Yeah. And I think that that's very fun. So I think that is probably what I would go for. Luna's great, fun character to have. She's just so pure. And then, yeah, we get to see some like other things that we didn't know in the story. And then I feel like it's always easier to do a present show than a prequel, because then you have to like have everything line up nicely. Whereas like there's no like wrong answers to what Luna did. And unless it was like not be the best.
Yeah. I mean, I like for years have been like, I want a Marauders like TV series, but I don't know. all of the pitches that you have here are very good, and I think you sold me on the Luna one. I also really like the idea of seeing what happened to the trio afterwards. I'm always really intrigued by that kind of concept.
Yeah, I do think we could have gotten something better than 19 years later and then also Cursed Child. So like maybe third time's the charm with a sequel story.
Let's get in between, but in between Hogwarts and Cursed Child.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thank you for your question. Sarah asks, if Fox was an NBA player, which would he be? I mean, Fox is all about fire, so it's got to be someone who catches fire. So it's obviously Klay Thompson, just because he catches a lot. Jackson, what are your basketball thoughts about Fox?
I've heard of the sport of basketball.
Correct. Okay, let's see. Okay. Avi says, what is your favorite queer ship of putting two folks together?
I mean, I almost wore my Remus and Sirius t-shirt tonight. So
All right. Instead, you've opted for Granger Things. I think the one that Kelly and I did a digital live show. We did Wizard on Bachelor in Paradise, and we ended up with, I think we got Fleur and Tonks together in the end, which I think is really fun. Like, obviously, we had to break up some marriages. But like, Tonks and Lupin never should have been together. Who are we kidding? Lupin and Sirius should have been together, obviously. But I think that that's like a fun, spunky one.
Yeah.
That could be cool. I like nothing against Bill except for that he's not cool. But I feel
but
like
he has long hair and an earring.
and dragon skin boots. He's so cool. He works at the bank. So.
Bankers are the coolest.
Sorry, my apologies, all the makers out there. I'm sure you're very cool, and you help me understand what a cashier's check is every time I move. And I have lots of paperwork where I'm like, I need these things. Please help me. You're all very helpful. Okay. Oh, this is thank you to Deborah who sent in this question. Normally, when I do live shows and I have people pass around a microphone when it's not, like COVID, I say like, what is your name and what house are you from? And if you're from Slytherin, you have to say whether or not you're racist. And if you are racist, I will not field your question. So thankfully, Deborah clarifies, I'm a Slytherin, but I'm not racist. Which Harry Potter character do you think has the best sense of style in terms of clothing? I feel like Dumbledore could be a top contender with his tailored purple suit. I think that's pretty sweet. I would love a tailored purple suit.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of someone besides Dumbledore. I feel like we've gotten some good.
Bob Ogden wears a striped one-piece bathing suit with a trench coat over it.
That's pretty good.
Style.
Always love, I forget his name, but the old man at the in Goblet of Fire at the World Cup with the nightgown.
Oh,
Archie.
He's like, I like the breeze that the dress. Yeah, that's really good style. I'm sure Madame Malkin, if she runs the one clothing store, like I would assume that she's got some fashion.
Probably
going
pretty
on.
stylish.
I would think she's pretty stylish. But yeah,
I've gotten. I don't know if it's just me like thinking of the movies, but I feel like Madame Hooch has a pretty cool style too.
Hooch for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, Hooch's hair alone.
I know.
I can appreciate. Like that requires a lot of product to do all of the like Quill Pig vibe she's got going on.
That's like the U.S. women's soccer team haircut. I love it.
There's the U.S. women's soccer team is fantastic because they are so good. I'm very sad that they're fighting for the bronze now, but it's okay. They won the World Cup. There's so many good hairstyles on like Megan Rapinoe with the pink hair. Kristen Press has like wonderful flowing locks. Like they've got
cool
great
style
hair.
off the field
Yeah,
too.
I forget the name of their backup goalie, but she's got like a afro mohawk going on. A+ stuff.
Wow.
Gosh, the hair department at the soccer team doing some good things.
Yes, I'm sure they have. Maybe they do. That would be
So
weird.
this next question is from Priyanka. She asks, where would we work if we were wizards? Which is a good one. There's not many jobs.
Well, yeah, like I feel like the jobs that we are told about, it's all like government jobs, the hospital, or being a professor.
Right.
That's about it.
Professional Quidditch
bank.
player, bank.
Yeah.
I feel like I would...
Retail. There are a lot of retail jobs, yeah. I'd work at the joke shop.
Dragon Wrangler for Charlie. That's pretty good.
yeah.
I think I would like to be... I think I've said this before, but I would like to be the PE coach / teacher at Hogwarts, so I could teach people that there's more than just one sport that is terrible. Like we could teach them about the joys of basketball and soccer and / football and these other sports that are good. Like I would like to do that. Or like, I don't think I would do this, but like there needs to be a guidance counselor at Hogwarts. So like if someone could do it, that would be cool. But like I'm not the person to do it. But like someone please.
Yeah, so desperately needed. I do not volunteer for that job either. I would like a qualified professional to do that.
Thank you, yes.
I feel like I could still just be a writer. That's kind of cool to just do the same thing in the wizarding world.
I mean, you wouldn't have a lot of competition in that. It would be like person who's lied about everything they've ever written.
Yeah, well, that's what it's like, competing against influencers anyway. Gilderoy Lockhart, first influencer.
Amazing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think you could be a very solid writer. I don't know of any other books. There's like textbooks and then books written by bad people. So I feel like you could. There's an untapped market of just
I want to be like
good books.
Agatha Christie style books that's always like featured in Witch Weekly or something.
Wizarding murder mysteries?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so many spells. Like there's so many ways
We
that it
should
could
just
be.
write those anyways.
TM. That's great. Thank you for your question. Arena, I believe, if I'm mispronouncing, did I pronounce it right? How do I say it? Irina. Thank you. Irina, who said, I'm a Slytherin and I'm not racist. What is your fan cast of McGonagall and the Marauders? This is we met at Puffs. That's very cool. Me and my buddy Steven and Kelly and my friend Akash went to see Puffs, and then we were like leaving, and then Irina said, "Are you Mike Schubert?" And I was like, "Yes." And then we took a picture, and it was great. That was very fun. Thank you for coming. A fan cast, like if we made a podcast about them. I'm old. What is a fan cast?
I think that's like if there were to be a movie or TV show about, yeah.
Okay,
And
cool.
so like what actors would you want?
Like McGonagall. Okay. So for McGonagall, I mean, you have to cast Maggie Smith. Like,
Yeah,
you
she
can't,
is McGonagall.
I'm sorry. Or you like do the thing. Who did they made Samuel Jackson really young.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a lot.
They've been doing that for
lately,
people
yeah.
where they're like, you're old. The computer says you're not old anymore. So like Maggie Smith will be fine. As far as like the individual Marauders.
I feel like I used to think about this more like with actors that now I think are too old. So I'm trying to think of younger ones, and I'm
They'd have to
feeling
be
like
kids.
I feel like Timothée Chalamet could be like Remus or James maybe or something.
I think
don't know.
Remus, he seems more like pensive-y type, whereas like
Yeah.
James needs to be a little more of like a jock.
Yeah, a little more.
Like James could be. I think I've even said this before. The guy who played Steve in Stranger Things, the guy with the really cool hair. He would be perfect for James because like exact same character arc of like starts as a jock that's a jerk, meets a girl who's way too good for him, and then she turns him into like a nice person, and then boom. Like so, I feel like that would be a good casting. And then as far as like Snape, I don't know.
Yeah, who's
Young Adam Driver.
Oh, Adam Driver would be great at that. I like that.
Oh man. Okay, let's see. This is just a question that I do not know the answer to. Miriam asks, how do elections work in the wizarding world? It's a great question.
Very poorly.
How did they vote?
I think actually at the at Fandom Forward, previously the Harry Potter Alliance, we did this in a video once where I played Harry Potter. We were trying to do a Get Out the Vote video for the U.S. election, but like with me as Harry Potter talking about England and the wizard. It was a mess. But I think what we ultimately decided was like they probably don't really. Like it's just probably not that fair. People are just kind of appointed maybe by boards and stuff. Yeah, that's where we kind of landed.
I also don't know enough about like British Parliament and stuff to know how like all of that voting works. So I don't really know how that would translate, and I'm not going to pretend to. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, like it feels ripe for corruption. Like it feels when there's magic involved, and we see how like poorly run the ministry is. Like I feel like every election would be the Florida hanging Chad thing. Like every single election, they'd be like, oh, like everyone who voted for this person, like we messed up the thing, and you all accidentally voted for like a mermaid. So now like the mermaid's the prime minister. I'm sorry. Yeah, I feel like that'd be pretty bad. Okay, this is a solid one. Okay, Johnny has now sent in 2 emails. Johnny says, the first one, it says, don't read this one. Who is the best guest and why is it Johnny? And then he sent a panic reply, all caps, and also Jackson.
Oh, thank you, John.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Johnny.
that.
Okay, but really for the final question, I think this is a good... Oh, sorry, Kelly has emailed me. Just kidding. Kelly says, hi B, you're doing great. Love you, Kelly Beckman. Glad you kept in the email signature so I know who it was from. Okay, now for the final question. Sorry to all the people who sent them in. There's some good ones, but we're running out of time, and this venue has been very nice to me, and I want to be nice to them and be out when I said I would. So Michael sends in a question. I think this is a good note. Before I read it, what is the thing you hate most about the Wizarding world? Like, or the books? Like, is there something that you made fun of for like 17 consecutive episodes of your Harry Potter podcast?
Well, you have
For
an
me,
answer.
it's Quidditch.
Yeah.
Is there something that you dislike? And the question here is, name one good thing about Quidditch. I dare you. Just a good dare and a fun note to end on. But also, I think like trying to look for the positives in life is a good note to end on. So like, is there anything?
Yeah,
that is
I feel like there's so many answers, but I think the thing that I always complained about the most was I just really didn't like the movies that much.
Okay. So name one thing about the movies,
One
Jackson.
positive thing about the
dare you.
movies.
Or Michael dares you, technically.
Clearly the Shrunken Head edition in Prisoner of Azkaban just made the movies for me. No, seriously?
Yeah.
A serious good thing I like about the movies. Wow, now I feel how hard this is going to be for you with Quidditch. This is no, I do really like the movies. I think some of the actors were incredible and really brought the characters to life in ways that I don't think I would have imagined as deeply myself, especially some so well cast like McGonagall and Hagrid and Snape and Sirius and stuff.
That's nice. I think Quidditch, the one good thing I will say about Quidditch is something that I really appreciate about soccer/football is that it captures the like everyone being really, really supportive of their team or their countries, like team during regular season stuff or country during like World Cup type things. And I think that's the most admirable thing about soccer. Like when I lived abroad and I went to some games, like everyone in France was like very invested in the game. Like no one sat in the whole stadium. It was like, we're here, we're standing for 2 hours. Like we'll sit during the break between halves and then that's it. And they also sing the whole time, which is great. And I was like looking up the lyrics on my phone and I was like, oh, they're all in French. Oh, damn. But I think Quidditch, like as flawed as the sport is, I think it does a good job of like capturing that energy and how passionate people get like at the school level, at the World Cup level and all of that. I also think the other good thing about Quidditch is that like once we get past book 4, it like isn't really important anymore, so we don't have to deal with that anymore. But yes, that is the end of this Potterless Live. First off, big round of applause for Jackson for joining and being a fantastic
Thank you for
guest.
having me. It's been so great.
Thank you so much. Also, shout out to City Winery for having us. Thank you. So everyone here has been incredibly nice and very welcoming. This is such a nice place. Like, what a great way to start the tour. And also, a huge shout out to the folks at Mischief Management and the Leaky Cauldron and LeakyCon for sponsoring the tour. That is so fantastic. And thanks to all of you for coming out and supporting the show. Even like the show is stopping in a month and stuff. Like, you're still here. This is really cool. I was very nervous. Like, anytime I do a show, I'm like, what if 2 people show up and it's me and Kelly? So thank you all so much for showing and being cool. If it wasn't the way the world is right now, I'd be doing like a big meet and greet thing like down by like the merch table and all that, but I'm just trying to be safe. I don't want to like make a line where people are like standing and stuff. So just in the interest of safety and everything like that, I'm just going to go backstage and stuff. But I wish that I could do all that stuff. But thank you all so much. I really, really appreciate it. It's been a very fun show. Thank you for participating in the show and all of that. And hopefully I'll come back and everyone will get their shit together and get fucking vaccinated. And then and then we can do more of these and it'll be normal. We can do meetups and everything will be all cool, but I'm just trying to be safe and responsible and all of that. So I think we'll just call it there. But before we go, I hope you all have a good Wednesday evening and go out into the night. And as they say in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, before they defend Errol the Owl to the death.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for coming.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this live episode of Potterless. No need for me to do the whole full credits here, but just in case you're unaware, I am doing a weekly podcast now covering the Percy Jackson books called The Newest Olympian. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to episode 1 on the Potterless feed. Just scroll up or down, I guess. You can listen to it there. And if you want to just find me doing stuff, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Schubes17, SCHUBES17. I've got a personal website, Schubes. It's SCHUB.ES. It's where you can stay up to date with all of the stuff that I've got going on. But again, like I said, I will be posting stuff to this feed occasionally, whether it's about Potterless or other fun updates, so no need to unsubscribe. We've still got some good stuff coming. I did a whole bunch of live shows this summer, and I want to be posting the audio. I'll be doing that every few months, so stay tuned. There's some great fun content. It's just not going to be weekly, but if you want weekly fixes of Mike Schubert reading books and stuff, subscribe to The Newest Olympian. Again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your continued support, and I'll see you sometime in the future. Until then, as I say in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, wizard on!